Hello everyone and welcome back to Genie Crafts. So today we are going to do something very different. We are going to use a material that I have not yet used in any of my craft material. We are going to be working with glass and we are going to create a portrait on this. So you'll have to wait till the end of the video to see actually how the portrait comes out, because I'm going to explain the entire process on how to make a glass frosting portrait. So the first thing that you need is a glass. Now this is a very thin glass. You need a bit of thicker glass, like at least 5 mm thick. I'm using this as an experiment, so I have not purchased any thicker glass. This has come out of a frame that broke, so I just didn't want to waste the glass, so I'm going to use this. Now I should let you guys know that this is my second attempt, and the first attempt, while it came out good, it was not that good, and I think I did commit a lot of mistakes in that. So I have taken lessons from all the mistakes that I have done in my first attempt, and I'm going to make corrections in this attempt. So what are the things that you need for a glass frosting portrait? We'll get into those like little by little, but the first thing that you need is a glass pane, and one more thing that you require is that the glass should be completely clean. Now this is a hand sanitizer. Unfortunately, I have packed my glass cleaning liquid at some place and I can't find it, so you can use hand sanitizer also if you want. You don't need much, just few drops here and there. But what is important is that you use a lint free cloth to do the cleaning. So you have to make sure that there are no smudges, and you can see that's why I'm using gloves. Another reason for using gloves is that we'll be using some chemicals later on to induce the frosting effect. But anyway, whenever you are working with chemicals, it's always a good idea to wear gloves. So we'll clean it both sides, even though the portrait will be on a single side only, but let's clean it on both sides. So I used this glass for one attempt already. So there are few marks here and there. I have tried to remove the frosting marks, but not all of them have gone. But that's okay, to explain the concept of the project. Okay, so this is more or less clean. I mean, you can make it more clean if you want. There are a few lines here and there, but that's okay because anyway we are going to stick tape on top of it. So we have the glass ready. The next thing that we need is obviously a template, which will be the basis for creating the portrait. If you can do freehand, well and good, you can just do freehand, but I can't do freehand. So here is the portrait that I want to create, and this glass is going to sit on top of this. So it will be like this. So I have created the exact dimension for the glass in PowerPoint. So if you guys want me to explain how to do this, I'll do that in a separate video, but for now let's just assume that I have used the same method for the layered templates as I utilize always. And here is a template for this. Arrange your glass piece carefully, ensure that it is properly there. Now you can see that there is a lot of intricacy in the lines, but obviously I'm not going to follow those intricacies. I don't need the gloves right now, so I'm going to take off the gloves because I need to work with tape. So if I have gloves on, it is going to stick again and again. So I'll keep it aside. I'm going to use it later again once I start working with the chemicals. Okay, so there goes the gloves. I'm going to put something heavy on it so that the glass does not move. Okay, it's fixed now. Now in my first attempt I had used this packaging tape, but what happens is that when you remove the packaging tape, it leaves smudges on it. So this time I have decided to use the proper masking tape, and I don't know how this is going to turn out. So you and I are about to embark on this journey together, how this is going to look like. So what we need to do is that we need to mask the glass surface, or not just mask, actually we need to cover the entire glass surface with it. Now ideally I would have done it in lengthwise to have lesser cuts, but as we are shooting the video, it is there. Now you can still see the template from underneath it, and we'll have more light source later on, so you don't need to worry about it. It will become clear. Now this is one layer. Now ideally, like I said, I would have gone like this, but because the paper was positioned like this, so I did it. But still, I cannot do multi-layer, so one surface to be covered only with a single layer. Do a little bit of overlap. As you can see, I have done small overlap. So there is this overlap. You can see this small overlap. So overlap is good because it will help you remove the tape properly later on. You can do more overlap also, but remember, this is a masking tape, so the more overlap you will do, the less visible the underneath surface will be. But like I said, we will improve the visibility of the template in a while. So just bear with me, please. Let me cover it with tape. Now when I did the first time, I was very nervous. There was a lot of, like I said, mistakes that I did. So I'm hoping not to repeat those same mistakes. The first mistake was obviously the kind of tape that I has used. Like I said, I had used the packaging tape because I thought that it is, very thin, so the visibility of the template will be good, which was true. But then when the time to remove the tape came, it caused a lot of problems for me. So I'm definitely not using that tape again. But if you are okay with that, you don't have masking tape, you can use the packaging tape also. If you guys want, I will release the first attempt also. Okay, now this is done. You have to ensure that your template and your glass is properly secured. So make sure that this is properly secured. Okay, so this is done. The glass is properly stuck to the paper. The next thing that we need is a light source, and I have used this kind of light source in my earlier videos also, so I will just show again. Just so to tell everyone what I was talking about earlier. So this is how I had used the previous one. So there was glass here in front of the template, and you can see that the visibility of this is far better than this. But then what it does is that it leaves residue like this, and it becomes very difficult to get rid of that because you need to clean the glass before you can apply the chemical. So this became very difficult. So anyway, this is my light pad. So let me just keep it aside. This is my light pad, which requires a USB power source. You can find this light pad on Amazon. I had purchased it many years back, like at least 3-4 years back. There is a switch. This is the low lightning, and here is the better lightning. So this is the maximum lightning, but just see the difference. So right now this is the visibility, and the moment you will keep on it, the visibility of your template improves. So that's how we are going to improve the visibility of the template. I'll switch off my room light so that you can see it better. Okay, so now what we need to do is, normally when we create portrait, like when we do it on paper and other stuff, we always mostly remove the black areas, okay, and we keep the white areas. So I did the opposite of this in the first attempt. I had removed all the white areas, and I had created the pattern on the black areas, which did not work out well because you cannot place the glass against a darker background, otherwise the entire face will come out black. So what we are going to do this time is we are going to do the opposite. If we keep the black areas, so there will be no pattern on it, the glass will be clear on the black area, and when you put against a black background, you can see the black. So that's what we are going to do. Now you need a knife to cut. Don't worry, the knife is not going to scratch the glass. These frame glasses and any other glass that you find in the market, these knives, normal paper cutting knives, are not strong enough to create any kind of scratches on it. So we are going to use the knife. Let me change the blade. I had previously worked on it, and when you work on a glass surface, the blades tend to break quite easily. So you have to be careful. If you apply too much pressure, your blade tip is gonna break, which you don't want. So let's start by building it. Okay, so as I said, we need to remove the white areas, and we'll create the pattern on it. So let's start with smaller areas. So let's use this one. Now initially when you will cut, you will get a good understanding of that how much pressure and other stuff you need to apply, because after you have cut, you need to remove the area also. So you have to remove it like this. Okay, similarly you have to do it for all the places. So for example, this is the eye. Also, because it is on top of a glass, it will create a kind of moire effect or illusion effect. So you have to be very careful where the boundaries of your cutting area are, so that you do not cut into the black area and you do not leave the white area also. As you can see that I am not interested in the intricacies of the lines. I am keeping it all very simple. But if you want, you can make it as detailed as possible. But then remember, the more detailed it is, the more difficult it will be for you to remove the tape later on, and also to do the frosting. One thing I can say for sure, that removing a masking tape is far easier. It is not leaving any residue on this. Okay. So similarly, we have to remove the entire white surface. I am going to show you a close-up also. Just give me a minute, please. If you notice, I'm not really putting much pressure. And I have not stuck my paper to the light pad so that I can easily move it around, because we are doing a portrait. So there will be some movement of the paper. So I'm not really doing that. Okay, so this is all connected, so I'll do it later. The first thing that I do is I am removing the isolated white areas, and then I will remove the one big chunk of the white portion, and also the outside. So anything that is white, I have to completely remove it, so that I can highlight the black later on when I put it against the black background. Wherever there is a double layering of the tape, you have to put a little bit extra pressure. I mean, that's obvious, otherwise it's not going to cut. But one thing is for sure, cutting a masking tape is far easier than cutting a packaging tape. The knife was slipping because the packaging tape was so thin when I used it in the first attempt. So the knife was again and again slipping, which was not good, because it caused me to miscut a lot of times. Now it's time to carefully remove it. We have to ensure that none of the black portion or the portion which we don't want to remove gets removed. See, this is the advantage of layering the tape. You can remove it in one go, otherwise it will come out in patches. Obviously you can tear off in between like this. So we are done with the cutting. As you can see that we have removed the tape wherever needed. Let me switch off the light to the light is switched off, so you can see that this is how it has come out. Now, it's not looking that good right now, but when the frosting effect is done, that's when it is going to look good. So it's done. Now it's time to remove this. Now, as you can see right now, this is itself looking like a portrait, but in inverse. Okay, so now we need to convert it back to the original image with the help of frosting. Now check if there are any marks on the glass. You can see that there are some marks, so I need to clean them properly. So again, I'm going to utilize my lint-free cloth to actually clean it. See, I'm a little bit afraid to put too much pressure on this because this glass is very thin, If it was thick, I would have actually put a lot of pressure. See, you can see that I'm not putting my finger anywhere on the exposed surface now. That's one way. Or you can simply just use a glove to ensure. Now on the front it is very important to clean. On the back you can clean later also. Also ensure that you are not removing any of the tape while you are doing the cleaning, because that tape is very important right now. So do not remove any of that also. So you have to be very careful while cleaning. That's why I said it's a good idea to use the gloves. But when working with tape, sometimes gloves become a hindrance. So I removed it while cutting. Okay, I'm going to leave it as it is. Your surface needs to be clean for the next step. So here's the surface. Now what we need to do is we need to create an etching pattern. We need to etch the glass, at least superficially and artificially. So for that we are going to use this Easy CR8. This is a frost spray from Asian Paint. So when you go to offices, you see those patterns on the glass doors. Those are not stickers, those are actually frost spray effects, and this is what we are going to use. I brought this on from Amazon for rupees 220. They sent me an expired product, but it's okay, it's working because I have tested it once. So for the next step, we need to spray it like 3-4 times on the exposed surface. So I don't want to ruin my new paper cutting mat, so I'm going to cover this surface with something before I start doing the spray. Okay, so to protect my working surface, I have first put another mat on top of my new mat, and then I have put paper. If you have plastic sheet, it works best. The best option is a plastic sheet. I don't have a plastic sheet with me right now, so I'm using paper. The next important part, and one of the mistakes that I did, was that I just put it like this on paper and I just sprayed it, which is not a good idea, because what happens is that the spray liquid seeps from inside and coats the back of the glass. Now you can remove that coating, but why take chance? Simply just put it on top of a surface. It can be any surface. It should just not, touch the base. So you can use this, or you can use something smaller also. So last time I had used this pack of my blades, just put it like this. So I'm going to use the same. Now this spray is a little toxic in the sense that this is chemical, so you need a glove and a mask. So first let me put on the gloves. It's important that you use gloves. You should not let any of this spray touch your skin in any manner. I don't know what the effect will be, but you don't want to find out. And then you need a mask also. So I'm using this N95 mask to cover my face to ensure that none of this spray is getting into my lungs. I'm not inhaling anything. A short exposure is not going to do anything, but then it's best not to take chances. Okay, so spray it properly. And then we do it in like multiple tries. Okay, so one layer, then another layer. So you can decide whether you want to do it in length or width. So just spray it once, see if the liquid is coming, and then in an even pattern once you are sure that you have sprayed all the exposed surfaces. After that, you let it dry for 4 to 5 minutes. So we'll let it dry for 5 minutes, and then we are going to do another round, wait another 5 minutes, and then we are going to do another round. Now you can see that there are some droplets forming underneath it. It's easy to remove it, so don't worry about it. Using your knife, you can actually cut those coatings and just remove it. Just make sure that the entire surface is covered. Now we are going to wait 5 minutes. Okay, so You can see that this is more or less almost dried off. Last time I didn't wait this much between the multiple coatings, which caused, you know, some bubbles to form and not a very smooth coating. So we will do the next round now. Okay guys, so the second layer is also almost set, and now it's time for the third. Let me just coat it again and apply the third layer also. So when applying the second layer, there were some bubbles that were formed. I don't know why. Maybe in between when I sprayed, it was just air that was coming out and not the actual spray. And now we are done, so I'm going to just close it and keep it aside. So we are kind of done, and now we have to let it dry for 48 hours. So I will see you guys back again in this video after 48 hours. So guys, it's now almost 20 hours since we put on the last coat of the frosting spray. As you can see that this is like translucent now. You cannot see my hand clearly until it's very close, but from a distance it's translucent, and we have to make use of this distance aspect only to actually make it look like a portrait. So a 3D effect will be needed for this. Anyway, so there were some drops which collated at the back, which we will remove with the help of the paper cutting knife, and now it's time to remove it. So let me just get rid of this mat. Okay, so here we are. Now what I learned from my last time is that ideally this tape is just supposed to remove on its own, but what happens is that it tends to take out the frosting spray also. Maybe more coats are needed, or I don't know. So I'll show you one piece how to do it. So you need to do a cut around the area which you want to remove. So that when you remove the tape, the area which is not supposed to be removed is not disturbed. I'm not very super happy about it, because this means that we are doing the cutting twice now. Once when we removed the unnecessary parts for the masking tape, and now again we have to do it because we want to remove. We have to put a little bit of pressure because it's 3 layers of frosting. So it will take some effort to, basically we're just creating a guideline so that we do not remove the frosting from the places where we have actually put the frosting spray. Okay, so this one piece is done. Similarly I'll have to do for rest of the spaces also. Then you slowly go ahead and remove. Now what you can see, there is some glue residue even with masking tape. It is far less than what I had what I had with the packaging tape earlier, but you can see the difference, right? Now against a black, this is going to look good. So the lips area was supposed to be black, so this will look good. So similarly we have to do it for the rest of the places also. Now this residue that you see is actually a mixture of frosting spray and glue residue. So using the tip of your knife, you can gently clean this. You have to be very careful when you're doing this, so that you do not cut into the actual frosting surface. So what had happened, it on the edges, the frosting spray has actually seeped inside the tape, and that's why it is, this residue is there. And you cannot wait for the 48 hours to do this activity, because then the frosting spray will become very hard and it will become very difficult to remove all this. So that's why I'm actually doing this step just 20 hours. So after 20 hours it is hard enough for the tape to be removed, but still soft enough to do cleanup work like this if needed. Okay, so more or less it's clean now. A little bit here and there is left, which I will later remove. In a similar fashion, I'm going to do it for the rest of the surface also. Okay, so I have made the cut around all the places, and I'll remove the paper in a while. About these marks that are there, by just using the tip of your knife, you can easily remove them. Just run your blade over and they will be easily removed, so they are not such a big bother. And I will use the, and since it is soft right now, so it will remove easily. If you wait for 48 hours, you'll have to put much more effort into removing them. I'm pretty sure there will be some chemicals or something that can remove this, but right now I don't know. So I'm just using the simplest method that I have, using my knife. Okay, so in a similar way I'm going to remove all this. Now time to remove it, so let's start with the lowest one. You can see that there is frosting residue everywhere. I think the tape absorbed some of it, and it is going to be a lot of work for me to clean up. Anyway, the cutting has ensured that I can quickly remove off the tape. The more faster you remove, the less residue it is going to leave. So guys, here is my glass frosting portrait after I have cleaned it. Took me a lot of time to do the cleaning and everything. I think I can improve upon the technique a little bit, and if I find better mechanisms to make this, I'm definitely going to make another video. This is an interesting concept to create designs on the glass in general, but I think this can be easily used to actually create beautiful portraits also. So this is how it looks. To frame it, you will need a shadow box of the same size where you can mount it. There has to be some distance between the background paper and the glass, because if you touch it, it does not come out that nicely. Also, the viewing angle matters quite a lot, just like in crystal portrait, which I did earlier. So viewing angle matters a lot. So guys, this is it, and I hope you guys liked this video and learned a lot from it. In case you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends, and do subscribe to my channel for regular videos on art and crafts, and I will see you guys in the next video very soon. Till then, take care and bye bye.